So welcome to yet another meeting of capital planning. We hopefully we get all our details, all our ducks in a row today. But it's 7:01, Eloise, on the 27th. And I will call us to order. And first order of business on my list is something we forgot to do last time, which was approve the minutes that Eloise wrote for the 2 meetings ago, I think on the 6th. But we all should have gotten those, and they look lovely to me. So I would like to make a motion to approve those minutes.
I second it.
Great. Any questions, Janet, Eloise? Nope. Okay.
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, great. Second for me is I sent you guys the copy of our annual report that I wrote for from last year. Yeah, thanks, Janet. I wrote it once and I just update it every year. So
works for me.
If anybody looks for like quality writing and or storytelling, it's not there. But if anybody has any concerns or things that I should edit or change, I'm happy to do so, or we can approve them to turn into the select board.
I make a motion that we approve
Great.
the town report.
Sounds good. Discussion? Nope. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Perfect. Okay. Where to go next? I think you all got an email from the fire chief regarding our
Yes.
request for an Explorer and his request not to go down in size. I asked him to attend tonight's meeting. And told, oh, he's here. I was gonna say, and told him we start at 7, so hopefully he will be here. Okay.
I'm going to promote him now to panelists.
Perfect.
Oops. Well, I'm trying.
Maybe.
Sometimes it takes repeated tries. Huh. Hey, Chief, I'm trying to promote you as panelist. Oh, there we go. He's coming. Yay, here he is.
You're
Hi,
up.
TA. Great to see you.
Yeah.
Evening.
Hi,
Miss
Chief
you.
Clark. How's
Miss
it
you,
going?
Chief.
Everything's very well. How's everybody doing? Happy New Year to the ones I haven't seen. Anna, what would you like to start with?
So, yeah, so my personal biggest, I was going to say my personal biggest question is that I was under the impression that a Tahoe and an Explorer were very similar sized vehicles. And I think that's for me why we moved to the Explorer, because it comes in a hybrid version. So our goal is to keep our community as green as possible. And investigate hybrid options. And so we had thought that those were 2 comparable vehicles, but now I'm understanding from your email that they are not.
Different size platforms, and the current platform is an Expedition, which would be equal to a Tahoe. I just have many years of experience. It went through like the email says, I went through the whole experience with them, and it just wasn't enough room in the inside, room in the back seat to store all the equipment, and a room in the back. In the backside, when you put the hatch up at an incident on the highway or in the front yard of a house that's on fire or something place like that, to run a command and control function on. We just learned it when we first bought it, we stayed with it till it lived through its normal lifespan. Then we upgraded and got the larger platform. And I just lived through it. And that's why, to me, I think when you look at my current car, the back seat is full of turnout gear, air tank for going in a fire, a building fire. Then the back's got all the command and control function in it, the accountability board, a tent so that sometimes it's busy or the weather's busy when you're out on the street. You can put the tent over the back of the car and have a little bit more room. And then a bunch of books for hazmat, all the things that we run into out on the street. So it's like, been doing it a long time. And I just like, and plus they already went to that size platform with the current car when they bought it in 15 or 16, whenever they bought that. So it's like, I just have lived through both, and just one's size wise and the cubic inches or cubic feet of space inside them, however you want to say it, just gives you more options. And I can honestly say that mine, when I use that, and every other fire chief that uses one, it's like a mobile office. I'm not as trendsetting as some. We haven't got to the mobile data terminals yet to have those in the back where I came from. I had a box in the back, which I think if we look earlier in our very early capital things, there was a command and control box, a truck vault one, which gave me sticker shock when I looked at it, because I've bought 3 or 4 of those over the years, and had a computer in it that I got all through grants that I could swing out and have it over the box. And I had a radio console, and the screen would allow me to call up all my floor plans that I had, you know what I mean? So you build it out to have that capability on the street. We're not there yet, but it's like, it gives you the capability to do it when we get there. And it's like, I looked at the, I see all the time, I see the hybrids that they're using, and I guess that's a decision you gotta make. I don't think, I understand it's something that they like to do in Berlin, but it's like, I'm not, yeah, it's just not a good fit for what we have to do, but you guys kind of like control the purse strings, you know what I mean, to be honest with you. So it's like, I like to always, and you can ask, be a part of what, the decision-making process. And it's just like, I know what fits what we need to do, and there's not enough room there. And, you know, I don't know how else I can sell it. I think if someone had a chance to take a quick look at how I have the current one set up, which is kind of like rough in the way back because there's no command console there to kind of coordinate everything yet. That's going to be made in-house for when a new vehicle comes. So I got some carpenters that are pretty handy there, and they're going to do it. But yeah, I don't have, other than watching the blue team, I don't have a lot of experience with the hybrids.
What do you have now?
Expedition.
An Expedition.
Yeah.
Oh, so you have the Expedition, which is the equivalent to the Tahoe, just Ford versus Chevy.
That's right, Janet. Yep.
So my Tahoe is flex fuel. So is that not green?
I'm not sure. I don't know how you, I've seen the flex fuel ones. I'd have to look on the quote to see if that's part of the engine there. But I asked my salesman multiple times if they had those. He said they should be coming out next year, but you never want to buy one the first year they come out if they were hybrid, you know what I mean? So it's like, but that's kind of like where we are. They do make flex fuels. I just don't know. Let me just look, as we're talking here, I'll look at my specs that I got and see if they say anything about the type of motor and the flex fuel.
I just have never been able to find a place where they sell flex fuel in the Northeast.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my only, you know, it's great that it's flex fuel and going a little more green, but I've never been able to find a flex fuel station. I think they're more common down south.
I'm not sure. I don't have a lot of experience with that.
I think the only fuel now is 10% or something like that.
Ethanol,
It's,
yep,
alcohol, yeah.
yep,
And
at
all-
least 10 to
yeah, at
15,
least,
yep.
at least, yeah, right.
You can see the
Now-
difference in the, when the gas tanks fill on the highway during a car fire, you can see the difference from, I'm used to gas burning one way and it burns different. It's hot and flames are flames, but you can see a difference for the trained eye. It's interesting to watch, actually.
It looks like that Explorer and Tahoe are pretty much compatible pricing. The only difference is, seems like a little bit of size and gas mileage is the biggest one.
So,
Correct. I would say, I would agree with that, yeah. It's a little bit bigger. And I think of the two larger platforms, the Tahoe is the least expensive of the two. And it's like, but
so
Does
Chief,
Tahoe
did,
come only in 8-cylinder engines, or can you get it in 6?
I'm sorry, one more time. I'm sorry.
And Tahoes, do they come only with 8-cylinder engines? I think they do, yeah.
Good question. I think the one that they spec for the SSV, and I know the PPV one, which is like the pursuit vehicle, that's definitely a high thing. And there was options to do that one, but I didn't need that. I don't
Right.
need that. You know what I mean?
need
So I did the SSV model, which is the basic one for public safety. And it's like, the one I got now, the Expedition, that's a PPV one. Yep, it's got all the power in the world you could ever want, don't need it. So it's like, that's why I elected to go with the little bit less expensive SSV model. And that's what you want to do.
so I'm still stuck a little bit on the comparison between a Tahoe. So a Tahoe is 20 square inches larger than an Explorer, but you're currently in an Expedition, which I think is much larger than an Explorer. So I'm
Yep.
curious, I feel like you're taking a step backwards by asking for a Tahoe. No, you're shaking your head at me.
I've had Tahoes. I've had more Expeditions than Tahoes. So it's like, I've only had one Tahoe. And it comes down to like, you get them off the bid list and it's like, are you a GM person or are you a Ford person? So it's like, it's that simple. It's no, I think the larger platforms, there was never a question of room for me getting in, even with all my turnout gear on prior to a response. So, but there was, when I had experience with the smaller platform.
I think the
Which would be-
Tahoe is actually bigger than the Expedition in the cargo space area.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know the cubic inches. I don't have it right with me. John did a really good comparison of the two larger platforms. And it's
He
like,
did
they're both really close.
Explorer and
Right.
Tahoe. That's what I was looking at when I quoted that 20.
I did not look at the Expedition at all, no. But I think Expedition is bigger than Tahoe. Larger vehicle.
Might be a little bit, yep, but they're the same platforms from both the
Yes.
manufacturers, you know what I mean? They're
Yeah,
very, very
trucks,
similar.
truck-like,
And the- Yep,
SUVs.
in the back seat, in the way back, I'm not sure exactly what you got up in the front seat for cubic inches, but I've never, even someone with my size and with the heavy turnout gear on, I never felt that I was like jammed into a Tahoe or an Expedition, you know what I mean? But I did have one of the other ones and it was like, I had to make sure I put my jacket on after I got there. So, or my bunker pants, so.
Okay. All right. Oh, what-
So there's rumor that the Expeditions will come out in hybrids next year. Can you,
Rumors, they're not. yeah,
rumors,
hasn't been
right? Yeah, it was
confirmed.
supposed to happen this year.
Rumors, yep, and yep. And, and to be honest with you, this platform I currently have is tired. Is like, it's got just shy of 106,000 miles now. It's like
Mhm.
100, I got fuel today, it was like 105, 740 something miles. So it's getting, I can see a difference from when I started driving it, but I'm still using it. So it's like, it is what it is. And I'm sure that if one manufacturer comes out with one, the other ones may, but I'm not sure how they plan that, or I haven't seen any rollouts or even heard anything from the people who we would supply us with those vehicles, you know what I mean? So it's like, this,
Hey, Chief, I just got a question. Any idea what the trade-in or resale value on that will be when you get your new command car?
well, the first thought process was to keep it and use it in-house, because we're at a serious vehicle shortage. I know we got a pickup truck coming, but my car's been down twice now for over a week. And I have to take my four-door Jeep Wrangler and make it into a command Jeep. So it's like I put all my stuff, I jam it in there in the back seats, and I've used that for over 2 weeks now when the car's been down. So it's like,
When are you getting your truck, Chief? That
I
should be
spoke to
coming
him
in.
today. He said the same message he told me 6 weeks ago. It's in transit and it should be here within a week to
Oh.
2, and then we have a week of prep time on it. So
Okay, that's
yeah,
good.
they don't, I think they just like, blah. It's like, he's like at the wah stage now when I talk with him. So it's like, you know.
You're hearing the trumpet like Charlie Brown's
Oh,
mother?
yeah, exactly. It's like,
Wow, wow,
just
wow,
give us a
wow.
truck. We need a truck. So it's like,
So Chief, so the capital planning committee had said that they want, when you get the new command car one, they want the former command car one sold or traded in, so as not to
Okay.
add to the fleet. And I have to say, I agree. I completely agree with them on that, because then that would be 2 big rigs. Oh, well, actually, plus the truck. So provided you get the truck, do you have any concerns with having the,
selling the other one? Nope.
yes, okay, that's
Because we
good.
got an option now, it hasn't come to fruition yet, but what's the car
The
the
Volt,
blue team, is it the Prius that you
that's a
plug in?
Volt.
The
The
Volt.
Chevy
Volt, thank
Volt.
you. And that's going to become available for fire prevention, and
Mhm.
then our bases will be covered. Yep, we can sell it. I'll sell it in a second. It's got a high mileage. It's like, yep. We'll try municipal again.
Mhm.
Mhm. Okay, does anybody else have questions for Chief Clark?
The only other
Oh.
thing I was gonna say, when I first
Yeah.
came to you, the communications package, we had hadn't gone to finance yet. And they said to include that in, trying to find out how much it was. To include that in your, in the whole number. They didn't want to like separate it out on a line. Because a good question was, is it something that you get every year? Or is it something to last the life of the vehicle? It's the life of the vehicle, then maybe plus, depending on the technology at the time. So it's like, and the other thing that the chief shared with me, he doesn't expect his, and we won't put the high miles on it like he does, but he said the hybrids are like 6 to 7 year vehicles, and the ones that we're looking at are 10 plus. So it's like, that might be something else to look at in the whole figuring the investment, how long it's gonna last. So it's like, I've had a lot of discussions with the police chief about this, and as we move forward for vehicles, and he said, yep, they're only good for like 6 years. So it's like,
Hey.
Yeah, certainly, the durability of gas vehicles has been well established over, 50 years, 100
Yeah.
years, 100 years.
yeah.
And hybrids, not so much.
What
Not-
is
not
the,
okay.
what do you what does the police chief currently have for a vehicle? Like, what is the vehicle of right now?
I
Pickup
see
truck.
him, yeah,
Yeah.
I see him
Drives a
moving
pickup
from
truck.
vehicle to, yep, pickup truck mostly, I think.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah,
he's
he's
going to be
using,
driving for
using,
sure.
yeah, he's using the pickup. for
The
his-
Well,
F-150
what
Ford.
was, well, I never saw Chief Galvin in a pickup truck. What was he using?
He was using
The
that
Volt.
Volt, the plug-in one that you
Mhm.
gotta charge, and that's what, I think with the acquisition of a new vehicle, whenever that goes into service, the chief has said that he'd be able to release the Volt to the red team for the fire prevention. So that's, yep, that's perfect for running around doing inspections. So it's like, so.
Great. Anything else for Chief Clark?
I'd like to take a vote.
Okay. Oh, Margaret's raised her hand though.
Yeah, first I have to find, oh, I'm not on mute. Okay, so Chief, the Capital Planning Committee has also approved the inflatable rescue device. They've approved recommending that one too.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like a basic one that, yeah, that would be awesome moving forward. To have
Mhm.
that resource available, it's, yep. Thank you.
Made sense to us.
Yep, it's like, it's a basic one. And I think years ago, they may have had it, but when there was like some changes, they moved some equipment out that was like to somebody's advantage someplace. I don't know who it would be, but, and it's like, and now, yeah, so. Yeah, it's scary. So it's like, nope, that is like, that's basic stuff that you do a lot. Yep, I can't tell you how many times I've laid under a car and applied that to get someone out from underneath something or whatever, you know what I mean? They work, they're quick and really good. So it's like, yep, thank you. That makes my whole day just to hear that, you know? That's important and basic stuff. Thank you.
Mhm.
So are there any other questions on the card that I can help you with? And again, the invitation is always open. Come to the firehouse and see how what they look like and the equipment that they hold. If it helps you, you know what I mean? Like kind of settle it in. Sometimes I know that talking about it's good, but I'm the kind of guy, I got to put my eyes on it. You know what I mean? And so if anyone needed to do that, feel free to come knock at the door. Abby will let you in and call on the phone or whatever, the intercom, and we'll get you in there and take a quick peek at it. And it's like, you can see what's in there and how it's used. And you're more than welcome to come down and just visit anyways, doesn't matter.
Abby is an old friend of mine, and she reached out to me this week to say she was the new admin. So that was kind of nice.
I
I
heard
gotta
that
go down and
story.
visit her.
I heard that story just like yesterday or the day before. Congrats to you guys.
Yeah.
Yep.
Margaret, Abby is one of my breast cancer women
Huh?
groups.
Uh-huh. She
awesome.
has been a very valuable
Oh.
resource to me. I just love her.
Salt of the
Yeah.
earth, that woman is.
Yep.
Yep.
She asked
I'm
me how
gonna
come
come and
you got
have
your little-
coffee.
Look
In
what
October, she
look
asked
what
me at
she
the beginning-
gave me. She gave me this
Oh,
a few weeks ago. She
Ah.
said she had it in her journey and she said she wanted me to have it. And I was like, you are just a gem.
Awesome.
she's a super nice person.
Yep. She's like fit right in with the whole team, both sides of the building, and it's like a seamless transition. Seamless. Yep.
That's fantastic.
It's a nice little like commute for her too, from Hudson to here. So that
Yeah.
worked out nice for her.
Yep. Great
Yeah.
gal.
Yep. Well, thank you for welcoming her so warmly.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't know why. There's not a reason in the world nobody wouldn't do that to her. Very friendly, likes to she actually feels bad because she said, oh, I have to get more stuff done. I said, you get a lot of stuff done. It's like, we're going to work through because she's picking up the stuff from both departments. You know what I mean? Like payroll.
Oh, she's a busy, you can't give her enough to keep her busy. She's
Exactly.
like, that's
Yeah.
the type of person she is.
Good way to say it. Yep.
Yep,
Good way to say
yep.
it.
Nice. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off track there, but
Not
I had
at
to
all.
mention it.
No, we hit it off as soon as I had my little pink ribbon on in October. and it's like, that I wear because of my mother, and it's like, and she says, and we shared our stories, and it's like, yeah, like right there.
That's fantastic. I'm going to circle back though to Eloise because she wanted to make a vote.
I
No,
can't see her, but hi, Eloise.
vote. I'm waiting for you to make the motion.
I don't know yet. I don't know what motion to make. So
Fine, get a dice.
get a dice,
Pull
throw
it.
it.
Okay, I'll make a motion that you don't
Okay.
spend over 60,000 on the vehicle and the accessories.
And that way he can get whatever one he wants.
Yep, as long as it's on, he'd have to go through the state bid anyway. And sometimes there's last minute changes and poor June has to, jump through all sorts of hoops.
So
Yeah, but the bid was
And if it's any money
53,000.
left over, it goes
Yeah.
back to E&D next year. Don't worry about it.
Okay, all right, good.
what is E and D?
Excess and deficiency funds, It'd be-
Okay.
free cash.
Oh, Margaret is muted.
AKA free cash.
Okay.
Okay.
I have a quick, actually, I think I'm gonna second that motion because I think
Okay.
that's what I'm supposed to do.
Yes.
And then I'm gonna say I have a question then for Chief Clark. If I recall correctly, your original request was for 53,000 for the
That was
Tahoe.
without the communications. That's
And-
what I started
yeah.
to say after talking with finance. So
And how
it's
much
like-
is the communications?
It
Puts
comes
me
to
o-
a
it puts
total
me
of
slight-
$58,581. I added it up.
Well, Eloise is on top of it.
No, I'm just trying to keep the minutes straight.
There you go.
Good.
Okay.
right.
Any further questions or concerns? Okay,
No.
all those in favor of Eloise's $60,000 limit, Chief gets whatever he wants, as long as he does it appropriately and gets rid of the current vehicle.
Yes,
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye too. Okay, unanimously. There you go, Chief Clark.
Thank you for your support.
All right.
Thanks for putting up with us.
Bye, Chief.
yeah.
Talk to you soon.
And is a structure in a process. Everything needs-
Yeah,
Right.
I get chaos on the street. It's nice to have a process and structure.
I'm glad you think this is structured.
Well, it's
Good.
it's CIC structure.
Yeah.
Just a quick
ma'am.
question, now that the vote's done, would that cover the cost of the communication system then in the vehicle?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
okay, that's good. That'll be a 2-in-1. And that funding source is going to be public safety mitigation, correct?
Yes.
That's what you would, okay, got it.
Thank you for support for our 2 articles.
Yep, happy to do it. Okay. Well, I think, Chief, if you're welcome to hang out if you want to, but you don't have to.
I might
But I-
just listen. I'll listen for a couple of minutes, but I can hear one of the dogs ready to go outside, so it's like,
So I think, Margaret, we have a few more items to talk about. We have this community preservation.
Yeah.
Do
so-
we have any word on the bridge and the school board? No.
No, okay, so the school, Bob Conry did get back to me today on the capital requests that were in the FY23 preliminary budget, and he says there are no changes on those since that came out. So it's still 68,000 for Berlin Memorial School, and it's going to be Berlin's share of 32,000 for the non-debt service capital at Tahoe, and I don't have those numbers yet. Nor do I have Tahoe's debt service yet, so I'm still waiting on that. But those are the numbers that I did plug into your spreadsheet kind of as tentative numbers. So the 32 and the 68. Oh, I didn't put in this 32. I put in the 68. Because I don't know
The
Berlin's
bridge-
share of the Tahoe one. I won't know until they get back to us, because that's like a formula-based number based on enrollment under the regional agreements. So yes, so nothing new on that. And then CPA, okay, so you've got the conservation one. You've had that one for a while. And from what I understand, last night, the Community Preservation Committee voted, I think, well, I don't know if they voted, but I think they're inclined to support $325,000 of that $490,000 Carolyn brought forward. And my further understanding is that an additional small amount might be needed from free cash. I just don't know that yet. And I'm supposed to be talking with Carolyn tomorrow to get a better sense of what that amount might be. So I would suggest at the Capital Planning Committee's next meeting in February to invite Carolyn and see if you can get a better idea of that.
So I got an email from Carolyn today. And she said that they've settled on $325,000 coming from CPA funds. She has a meeting tomorrow morning with Margaret to try and figure out where the rest of the money might come from.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't know if that takes you up to the 490 or up to the 1.25 or 1.2 total.
I don't know yet. I need a breakdown from her on all the funding sources. There's no question they're going to have to use most of the remaining balance in the open space fund, their current open space fund. So they're going to have to apply a lot of that minus what is set aside for their temporary conservation agent in FY22. So we'll have to reserve a small amount there. SCT just got a grant for $75,000. I don't know how that's going to work because the town needs to own the property. So I don't know how that $75,000 will be applied. So that's another question I have for Carolyn. CPA, they've already got the 490. They're looking at 325. Now this is where ARPA funding comes in. So I'm sorry, I don't want to change the whole subject here, but I want to just shift to ARPA funding because this is going to affect capital as well. So we've got 400, and June probably knows the exact number. I want to say something like $449,000 or $440,000 so far in our ARPA funds. So the select board voted on Monday night to open up a request period where boards, committees, commissions, and the community can submit high priority, broadly supported project requests for use of the ARPA funds. Those are one-time funds, so the board is really focused on making sure that these funds don't go into any kind of recurring operating costs. So this ties in with CPA in that it could tie in with CPA in that one of the ideas the select board had in one of their prior meetings was to use some of the ARPA funds to fund the architectural study at the Bullard House. So it could allow the Historical Commission to avail itself of bigger grant funds to do Bullard House projects. So if that comes out of the CPA commitment, it could potentially free up more money for the Community Preservation Committee to put toward the land acquisition, so it'd take away from historical and put more in conservation. Recreation also submitted a request, but I think the Community Preservation Committee didn't feel that it was a thorough request. It didn't have enough detail, and so they didn't act on that. But one of the pieces of that wouldn't be CPA eligible anyway, I don't think, and that is safety concerns or safety issues at the playground.
You can't use it on maintenance.
Oh, excuse me, Eloise, what is that?
You can't use it for maintenance.
Right, you can't use it for maintenance or repairs, routine repairs or maintenance.
But
And
for brand new stuff, it's okay.
Right, so one of the pieces of the recreation's request was safety repairs. And so that wouldn't be an eligible use. So if that is requested and approved by the board, just the safety repairs part of it, that would be additional money that might be able to be put from CPA into conservation. So unfortunately, we're dealing again with this timeline where capital planning bylaw requires you to go to the board by the end of January. CPA has just started their process, and we've got to tie together these vetting processes. So
Margaret, if you, I can't remember, we're gonna call them a Grail property now, just for clarification, but I can't remember what was the total for it? Because if you take
1.25,
1.25,
1.25 for the entire, yeah.
right, and they've got 815 if we take CPA from last and CPA from now. So I just wanted to do the math in my head.
Mm-hmm. And then they've got,
They can sell
sent
2
me the-
lots.
June sent me the open space number, which was roughly, I can't remember. I'm going to see if I can find it in my email because I know she sent it to me.
Open space currently has $235,887 in it, but I have not yet posted the last 2 payrolls that come out of that, so it's a little bit less. So say 235,000.
So 235,000 from open space.
But
again, I
they
don't
still
know.
have to leave enough money in there though to pay payroll. They can't like wipe that out, otherwise they will lose their person.
Yeah,
What do they have?
Karen.
What do they have in like in their account already?
That's what it is, 235 grand.
Oh, 235.
and they've only got, I believe she said 3 more years of Solomon Pond.
But they can't spend the money before it's received.
That is true, but she just said as a matter of statement.
They
So
are
even with all
active-
the money, even with all the money they have, they've only got 1,050,000. So we're still short 200,000. Am I doing this right?
That's about right. That sounds about right. I
Okay.
don't know where the $75,000 comes in with SVT. I have no idea how that will be applied, if it can be applied. They have already submitted a grant application for a land and water conservation grant, which would reimburse the town 50% of the overall cost of the property. And that would come back to the town first before going back. Well, I believe it would come back to the town first before going back to CPA. So if we used, for example, $200,000 of free cash, it would go back to the town's general fund first before going to CPA. They're also applying for an MVP reimbursement grant, which from what I understand, could potentially reimburse more than 50% of the acquisition cost. So they're applying for 2 grants to try to get this, but either one requires us to fully fund it first. So it's a real catch-22.
And then they have 2 potential lots that can be sold off.
And they have 2 potential lots that could be sold off.
Do we know how the cost of those potential lots are?
Well, between you and I and the lamppost, I asked James Holyoke, and he said you're looking probably a minimum of 250,000,
So that's
I don't-
500,000.
possibly. But he says that they've never been perked. You know, you don't know what's under there. Oh, hi, June.
Hey, question.
Answer.
I just would like to make a statement. I don't know all the details, but when I talked to Tim about it, about the purchase of the land, I had to remind him that when CPA funds are used, if any land is sold, it has to revert back to CPA funds. And when I made that comment to him, he had made a comment that he believed that Sudbury Valley would be making the actual purchase of the land and that they would be the ones to sell off those parcels to reimburse them, so that the town would owe them less. I don't know if that's all the details, but that was what he had said to me when I said it. And if we sold it, it had to go back to CPA. So I just wanted to throw that in there.
Yeah, Tim said he was gonna call somebody that he's been working with that is in a community closer to Boston, who is an expert and, you know, knows the stuff in and out. with those specific questions.
When do we have to have this all done? And like, I mean, is there like a time like that?
Monday.
Next Monday.
It's Monday.
Yep.
Well, you
Gosh,
can't, it's not,
I'm glad I'm just a liaison here and not having to vote on that.
it's not possible. I do have the spreadsheet up. Yeah, but it's not going to be possible. It's not going to be possible at all, no matter what, because the community preservation projects aren't even before you yet.
Mhm.
So what?
So it
so-
makes it,
so
and
the
the
we
land-
ARPA projects, the board
We
has
can go
given
to the
until
selectmen
February
with
28th.
what we have right this minute.
That's what it would have to be. The ARPA projects, I don't know if I mentioned this before, but the board has given until February 28th for feedback on those, and those would be one-time likely capital type projects that the capital planning committee is going to be involved in reviewing.
I have one question for you on the APA. Does that require a town meeting vote, or is that just the selectmen?
Strictly under the select board's authority, but they have talked about whether, if there's something that comes before them as a request that they feel is
Let's
worth bringing.
hypothetically say the bullet house and the architect. So is that
The board can just vote it. It's like a grant that the board can just vote. These funds don't require further appropriation.
No.
okay?
They do
Well, I
rec-
didn't. Huh?
They do recommend to just make sure that publicly they kind of say what the money is being used for, just so the
Yes.
public is aware of the fact, but it doesn't have to go before any.
No, I was just curious myself if it had to wait for town meeting or if they can get that done now. Maybe you can find a starving architect.
Has the McGrail property already been purchased by Sudbury Valley Trust? No.
No, it hasn't.
Have they put the deposit? There was some sort of deposit to hold it for a period of time. Has that been done?
I can't answer that question. I don't know
Okay.
for sure off the top of my head.
Fair. Margaret, is it, I don't know if possible is the right word. Is it possible for us as a capital planning committee to turn in on Monday a strongly working draft of our
Yes,
recommendations?
Absolutely. In fact, I don't know if, prior to a couple of years before this, I don't know if you were following the strict timeline under the bylaw, but yeah, sure. You have a lot. Want me to share my screen with the spreadsheet? I mean, you've gone through a lot of it already, but
That's all we can share with them is what we've
Yeah.
voted.
yeah, here's what you've got. I just changed the fire amount to $60,000, but unfortunately, unfortunately, that changes the remaining balance after your approval to $206,444.72, which is less than we anticipated on applying to the operating budget for public safety personnel costs.
Is it
So-
less by $2,000 or is it less
It's
by?
less by 4,000.
Oh.
But I think I'd ask June to weigh in on this. We are expecting more money to come in, but what we've tried to do by setting up that special stabilization fund is only pulling money from existing balances rather than from anticipated receipts.
Yeah, we can't do that. It physically, because it's mitigation funds, you have to have it in hand before it can be voted on. I mean, if it's here before town meeting, it's doable, but if it's not, it can't happen.
That is true. You can't speculate.
No.
What-
Now we expect, we hope, to get the money from Riverbridge, the overdue monies from Riverbridge by the end of this month, by Monday. So fingers crossed, we're supposed to be getting $167,000, which could be transferred into that special stabilization fund at town meeting. But again, speculation at the moment.
Mhm.
So I see that we've got the 60 for Chief's car. But then I see down here, we have 54, 60, 641 for the police. Don't they want the same vehicle?
I think
guess
police
not.
is a-
No, they changed, so they're replacing one of their cruisers as they do every year. And then they're keeping the F-150 to become the chief's car instead of getting the chief a new car.
Oh, so he's not asking for a Tahoe now.
Not anymore, no.
No.
Okay, okay.
So, Margaret, we have school,
yeah.
CPA,
Yeah.
Bridge.
CPA is, yeah,
and then just our
Recreation.
facilities assessment.
yeah, just your, I'm gonna make a recommendation to the capital planning committee that you vote to support your recommendation to fund your capital stabilization fund. I really do think that that is an important, high priority thing in order to set aside money for large ticket items coming down the road.
I make a motion that we vote to support funding our capital stabilization fund with
That's
the
down, yeah.
total that we had of $197,614, as defined in our free cash guidelines.
Oops. I'm
Okay,
still
second
having
that.
on.
Yeah.
Right. Any discussion? No. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
Excellent.
Okay.
And today is the 27th. Okay. All right. So,
The bridge, Fred spoke to the bridge last night, Margaret, and
He
he
did,
was
but-
hopeful. He was hopeful. I mean, I thought maybe he was hopeful that might get some funding for that as well.
Mhm.
That would be
Yeah.
nice.
So there's no reason that this project can't proceed with this project can proceed with funding from Chapter 90. Chapter 90 is an eligible funding source to get the engineering done. We know the engineering needs to be done. So what if the capital planning committee consensus was to approve it with use of Chapter 90 state funds or state grant funds?
Well, that's what we kind of talked about last night at finance, right? Am I right?
Mhm. I think that, regardless of and I know the capital planning committee really wants the engineering estimate, and I don't blame you. I mean, you're more than entitled to just hold on this until you get the estimate. But I think it just needs to be understood that it's not going to be from free cash. This will be from Chapter 90 funds or from state grant funds.
Is that something that would be eligible for ARPA funds? And hopefully we could get reimbursed?
Could it be? It could be, because the ARPA funds could be used for any legitimate governmental purpose. June, what are your thoughts on that?
On which part of the project are you thinking?
Engineering.
I don't want to fall through South Street on my way to the dump.
Yeah, that's fully understandable.
Yeah. So one of the board's parameters for use of this funds was, and the administrative finance teams, was don't use the funds if you have other funds that are supporting something. How much do we have in Chapter 90, June, currently?
I don't
Right.
honestly know the answer to that.
It's got to be about 300,000 because they haven't been used for at least 3 years.
I think you're correct. I know that Fred was gonna look into it and see, but I don't remember getting a dollar amount.
Didn't we use those funds though for hot
We
top
haven't
or-
for the last
no,
3 years.
At the
Well, I
highway
thought we
garage.
used it for hot top for the new town barn. I know we did.
Yes, there was some
I know
used
for a
that, I
fact
believe.
we used it for there,
Yeah.
because it was kind of like a rob Peter to pay Paul, because we said it was a roadway into something. I remember that, and that was,
That was over 3 years ago.
Yes, we
Really?
since have gotten
Because that
3
was when
years of,
Keith, I think, first came in.
wow.
Yeah, or Dave first came in. It was one of the two, but it's been,
I can't believe it's been 3 years.
isn't that crazy?
Yep.
Well, that's because
Yep.
COVID has taken over everything and it's just fogged our brains.
I know, you can't tell what year it is.
I would say that I mean, because when we were discussing this at Selectmen's meeting about using ARPA funding for the design and engineering too, there was a comment made by state representative, who was it that
Yeah, that was the senator, the Cronin.
the
Yeah.
senator had made a comment that there are a bunch of grants coming down the line for infrastructure.
Hmm.
So it was one of those where, okay, does that mean that we don't use ARPA funds for that? So that was the only thing about using ARPA funds and committing it. I don't know if that would mean that we would not be able to get the reimbursement, because wouldn't be able to get that grant unless it was a reimbursement thing, but it usually has a timetable.
I just don't want to go with the expectation that we're gonna win a grant and we haven't, and then I fall through.
Okay, good point.
All about me.
Okay.
Mhm. One way, yeah. So ARPA funds, the administrative finance team has, and the Traffic Safety Advisory Committee, they're also going to advocate for setting aside some of the ARPA funds for design engineering costs for priority projects, whether it's complete streets or the tip or small bridge or culverts. They all require engineering.
Mhm.
How much would it cost to hire an engineer
I was just gonna ask that, Eloise.
for a year or two?
Okay,
Huh?
so typically, well, I don't know what it's gonna cost for a year or two, but typically, as far as a project cost, you can estimate engineering costs to be about 15% of the total
Hmm.
project cost, engineering, design, right away.
Yeah, I just have no idea what we're facing.
Yeah. The bridge on South Street would be it's gonna be about $500,000. They think the entire project would be about $500,000. So you're looking at
Hmm.
$75,000. If we have 3 years of Chapter 90 built up from FY 20, 21, and 22, and we haven't touched Chapter 90 since FY 19, I think, then we probably have it. We get over $100,000, well over $100,000 every year. So we have funds available to cover it.
But if we're spending it on that, then what didn't we do?
Hot top.
Hot
Hot
top
top.
repair.
Hot top.
A hot top is its own separate line item.
No, usually that's a supplemental. Usually the dollar amount that's in their special article helps to offset the cost, and usually the majority of it comes through Chapter 90 money.
Correct.
Myra, can you go to the bridge just so I can?
Yeah,
It's
sure. Where is it? That's down here.
there it is, to be
Yep.
determined.
Yeah.
Recurring. So could we, I know we have to, would like something in place for.
Oh, that's the wrong note. That's the wrong note. I'm
Well,
sorry.
that's what
That is the
that's what
wrong
I'm-
note.
yeah.
That's a reconstruct street bridge. Or engineer and reconstruct. Sorry about that.
No, it's
Could you
okay.
put in there a total estimate of 500,000?
Well, that's what I was thinking, Eloise. And could we say that, you know, you'll use the highway, the highway funds, and then what, and then capital planning could give like the balance of,
You
you
have,
know what I
there's,
mean?
honestly, there is plenty of money still remaining in your annual free cash availability for capital budget. You
Well,
have
that's what I was,
75. Mhm.
yeah.
I know you
I-
have to
yeah.
be careful because the
Mhm.
state grants hate to give you money and that you were gonna spend town money on.
Oh, that's true. That would show. a
And I
commitment. You're
know,
right.
so I'm apprehensive about that.
Mhm.
I
What
liked your
happens if-
first suggestion, Eloise.
We've all gone
You
quiet.
deal with money all the time. You got any ideas?
Who, what,
Do you have any ideas?
on what? I'm sorry. I was
And
looking
how
to
we
see when the
can-
last time was we did highway improvements, chapter 90, sorry.
June, what are your thoughts on capital funding toward the South Street Bridge project?
I mean, if we didn't have any other funding sources, that's probably the way we would roll.
Is there any way we can find out if the grants would be a reimbursement similar to, you know,
We don't know right now that they aren't out yet, so we don't have any actual
It just-
details.
It just
Okay.
opened.
Yeah,
When did they
that's what
come?
Fred was saying last night. They're just waiting for the grants to come out.
Oh, wait a
Although he
minute.
did say one did, remember?
Yes, he
Yes,
did.
the
He
the
said it
small
came
bridge
out.
grant has,
Yeah.
the small bridge grant has
Yeah.
opened up. I don't
That's what
think
he
it's
said.
reimbursement. I thought that it was actually a grant that we would receive. I don't think it's a reimbursement grant.
well,
And I-
then can
You
we
know what?
apply
Don't
tomorrow?
hold me to that.
No, I think you're right, Margaret. I think you're right,
Okay.
but we don't know how much money that is.
It's up to $500,000.
So they've got $1 million if they got their hot top money in. So that's plenty of money to cover it, right? Technically, if they get the grant, right?
If they get the grant of $500,000, that would cover, you know, not having the proposal, it's impossible.
I know.
It's impossible to know, but you know, when we first met with the engineers, they thought that the estimated construction cost for that project would be about 500,000.
And I want to say Fred was also saying that there were some roads that really needed to be also looked at for repairs. So
Construction.
we don't want to spend all of it in one spot either, because you don't have any extra.
You need a buffer.
Yeah. Because I know there was 2 other culverts too that he was saying are gonna, within
Yeah.
the next few years. So.
Where are they?
I
One's
don't
on
think he-
Randall Road.
Randall
Yeah,
and Pleasant, was it Pleasant?
It might be. We have culverts everywhere.
I can't remember.
So
What if?
how would we feel as a committee about maybe just holding off on making this decision and just write in that, I don't know, something along the lines of, we'll discuss it when the estimate comes in.
Well, there's, if you look in the next line, it says hold for engineering estimate.
Yeah, yeah.
And the best we can give the selectmen is what we have. It is what
Yeah.
it is.
This might be a good opportunity on Monday night to have a brief discussion with the board on ARPA funds. Because, you know, this also would apply to the Council on Aging space needs, the municipal facilities assessment. Municipal facilities assessment is one of those items that the administrative finance team was thinking about for the ARPA funds to have, once the local walkthrough is done, to have the professionals come in and really do a thorough facilities assessment. So maybe just have a brief conversation with them about ARPA and about other funding sources and the availability of grants.
And maybe you're gonna all hate me for this one, but maybe after we have this whole, I'm gonna call it survey, but that's not the right word.
Assessment.
Assessment, thank you. Maybe they'll assess, we should assess selling some of our buildings and then we'd have some more money.
Yes.
Ah,
I can't
that's
believe I
worth
said
one.
that and it's recorded.
It's just a thought. Yes.
It's not a bad thought, because I think that use and reuse potential and disposition potential have to be part of it. I think it should be.
Well, just remember that if you're talking about the highway barn, June's mother gets right of first refusal.
Oh,
I-
yeah, no, I wasn't talking about anything in particular. I was just thinking funding sources.
Dare I ask why June's mother gets the right of first refusal?
Because she lives next door and it was an agreement we had to make in order to get water and septic for the guys, because prior to getting it in the town highway department, they used to go into June's house if they had to go to the bathroom or get a glass of water,
How do you
or
like
wash their
that?
hands.
So
And
they
that
are,
happened
they're-
for 25, 30 years, because Linda Nelson lived there before. And
I was
she
gonna say it's probably closer to 40+ years.
She said they always did that when they lived there.
I don't know. I'm gonna be 60 and I can remember that as a little kid, so.
Yeah, so the water line is actually tied into my mother's well pump.
wow.
That's cool and crazy.
It is, but it works.
Yeah.
So I just, circling back to the ARPA thing, in the administrative finance team's presentation to the board, we specifically said that the capital planning committee and finance committee would be key stakeholders in decision-making on projects. So again, I do think it's going to be a good opportunity to at least briefly discuss ARPA with the board and, maybe pick their brains and get their thoughts on projects and how projects will be decided upon.
Are you saying we can't or can use the Arbor funds for bridge repair? Or did I
Yeah.
understand if we put it in there, then the grant, it affects the other monies coming in? Did I misunderstand what Eloise was saying?
The state hates you to take, the state hates you to plan on spending your money. And then you apply for a state grant and so we spend their money. So they don't want to supplement the towns. They want to take care of something that we couldn't afford.
They want to see that you
Gotcha.
have not already appropriated or committed money to a project before they give you money.
Okay, that's what I thought I understood. So would it be wise for us to say, okay, we're gonna put our Arbor funds there before we look for a grant and spend our Arbor funds on something that, a bigger project that we might not normally be able to afford? Did I get that right now?
Yes.
I wouldn't
Okay.
be so specific as to say South Street Bridge. I do think it's a good idea to maybe commit some ARPA funds to design engineering for complete streets and other
Mhm.
projects, but not specify
Yeah,
a
okay,
project,
yep, I
you know.
get it, yep. Well, then I think I'm kind of with everyone else saying that we just gotta hold until we have more information, because what else can we do?
It's a large amount of money.
Mhm.
Okay,
Wanna make
so
sure
is
I
there
tell you.
anything else?
I don't think that, what else is being held here?
So-
Hold.
Yeah, I think just that and the Council on Aging, the facilities
Yep.
assessment.
Yeah, okay. This will be
And
a
we're
good
waiting on
opportunity.
that to see if you got your grant, right?
Well,
The ARPA
no,
funding.
no. I wasn't able to get the application in
Oh,
the window, that particular
okay.
window, but this could be a discussion on ARPA funds.
Okay. Stick that in your note, would you please?
Stick that in your, oh, what is that?
Arbor
So-
funds, you know what I mean? So that we can,
ARPA question mark?
yeah, good, yep.
And the same thing up above? I don't know.
Well, till we know, I mean,
I think over under requested funding source, at least for the,
Oh, okay.
Service, it
Oh,
does
it
say
says it over
ARPA.
there. Yeah, okay.
oh, yeah,
Um,
sorry, I see it now. Yep, sorry.
Oh, it says it there
Yeah.
too. Yep,
Yep,
okay, good.
Yep, yep. Well, now
I
it's
do
both
think-
places.
yeah, I do think it makes sense if we're gonna look at Council of Aging for a senior center and look at our facilities, that we should look at our facilities and Council of Aging on
Mhm,
Aging stuff together.
mhm.
Is that senior center looking for like a place to build a senior center? Is that what that is?
I think the options are open. What they need is improved space because right now being down in the basement it's not ideal. And
Mhm.
frankly, the food pantry needs more space. And so they've moved their freezer in there, and it's also a storage room for durable medical
Yeah.
equipment. And it's I don't know. I think that they'd like to spruce up their space to be able to provide more services and programs.
Hey, maybe the town could buy one of the lots and we could build a senior center on the Grail property. Just being fresh, sorry.
All right, you want to, I'll scroll down a little more to see if there's anything else. Oops, I have to hold that. Okay.
And that number's
And-
not right, right?
Which number?
The 490, I thought you said it was
320.
I've got
325.
these. Yeah, I've got these things reversed here. I really need to cut this and put it in the next cell over here. And then you need to, I think that you're going to want to hold on this for further information, right?
For the Conservation Commission?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the CPA. I'm all
But
for
is it,
holding on.
but it's not 490, it's 320.
No, the first half was funded by CPA. 490 was
Oh,
funded.
490, okay, and the next, they're gonna give 325 this time around, right? Is that where I'm getting that number?
The
Well,
original.
yeah, that's right.
Okay,
Yeah,
Okay, and there's an approved. Okay, and
the
you're gonna
school.
have to hold, there's really not a whole lot you can do with this, the regional school district. Now, this is a capital assessment, just like it was last year. And so this, whatever the amount is, we would look to fund from free cash as part of the operating budget, just for this capital assessment. So that's what we did before. It's a one-time cost. It just happens to be in our operating budget. June, do you agree with that?
For Berlin Memorial.
Yeah.
I personally would love to see this as a separate line item or a special article, but I think the bad part about these with the regionalization is that they are just voted and they're given to them as a whole, but
Yep. I'm gonna take out the yellow just because I wanted to call it out.
so like they would just we would just get an assessment for this and we would have to pay it like quarterly or however the agreement came out, but we don't actually physically see the bill for these capital projects. If
You
that makes sense.
To make sure that they're done in the fiscal year that they want.
Yeah, yeah.
They fixed the HVAC access
I don't
yet?
think, I don't think it's done yet. That's a great question for the school district. I should have asked them that too.
Actually, that might be something when they come to the finance committee budget.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not gonna remember that, June, so you'll have to,
All right, I'm gonna
putting a
make a
note
note of
down.
it.
Thank
Yep.
you.
And here's this one, which I can't, I'm only putting free cash here because that's what we've done for their capital assessment. And it's only requested funding source. So this is the one that it's a formula that's based on, I think it's based on student enrollment from each of the two towns. So I don't know what portion of that $32,000 is going to be Berlin's portion. That's why there's a TBD here.
Great. So,
Here's your total requests now is 1,126,19.
Is that fire and EMS? Is that
That's
still
included.
70? Is that 70? That's correct, 75?
Fire and
I think
fire and
that's right.
police.
No,
No,
fire and
okay, so fire EMS total now is 75,364.
okay.
Police is 54,641. The amount going to the capital
Mm-hmm.
stabilization is 197,614. Highway total is 165. Public buildings. So this is not a committed amount though. So these aren't necessarily the approved amounts. These are just the requested amounts.
Well,
And on this next sheet, I tried to set up something to make it a little more easily understandable. So on this next sheet this would reflect the capital planning committee's approved amounts. I just haven't filled in free cash to the capital budget and free cash to capital stabilization yet.
How much money do we have left now?
In free cash?
Yeah.
A lot. Yeah, so the amount, so there was $303,000 that is requested from free cash to the capital budget. According to the free cash guidelines, the capital planning committee had up to $592,841 to apply to the capital budget this year. You're well under.
Yeah, but we don't have the bridge yet.
That's
but hopefully
correct.
that will come from free cash.
Or the school.
Or the
No.
school.
or recreation. A portion of recreation.
Yeah, but recreation didn't submit a capital request.
Do you want to revolt on town meeting?
No.
Well,
Yes.
they will come out.
No, Anna's ready for it.
What are we revolting against though? Or for?
Saying that the Casey Guilfoyle Memorial Children's Playground is not up to safety snuff.
Hmm.
Part of the problem is if you now know about it and you don't repair it and somebody gets hurt, you are
Mhm.
vulnerable.
That
Yeah,
is
technically,
absolutely
it should be
100% correct. We
Yeah, it
have been
should have
notified there's a
safety.
safety issue.
So how are we gonna fix that? Where's that money gonna?
That's why I'm proposing ARPA funds. It's money that would be quickly available to do the safety repairs.
Is this the new playground that we put in?
No, it was put in when Casey Guilfoyle died.
I-
Parents put it in,
Yeah, it was a donation.
but the town accepted it.
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, they should have been doing maintenance.
Yeah.
I don't know who's responsible to take care of it, but
I think the
Recreation.
family started, but now the family doesn't live in town anymore,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
ju-
I don't know what the agreement was though, as far as the upkeep of it goes.
so, but once again, if somebody gets hurt.
Yep.
They will, after the town, to pay for medical bills, and it's not a place you want to be.
So
Mhm.
Margaret, how do we get that to go to Arbor Fund? Because I'm listening to Eloise as a nurse and I'm thinking, we don't want anyone hurt down there.
I've already sent this out as a thought.
You can
I mean,
discuss
even
it
if we're not,
Monday night
even
with
if
the
we're not,
selectmen.
I know, June. Even if we're not, this is, the only other option would be reserve fund transfer from the finance committee. Extraordinary and unforeseen expenditure. I don't know
guess
that this can be
My
argued as
big
that.
thing right now is with recreation is that, I don't know what funding they have available. That they may have been able to use to go towards this, maybe out of revolving. Because the budget that was submitted really didn't talk about revolving funds that they had. And I don't know, I just don't feel this would be an opera expense. I'm sorry, Margaret, but I just,
Oh, no, that's okay.
this
That's
isn't a
fine.
one-time thing.
Everyone,
This is a maintenance, this is a repair, and I get the whole, it's an emergency or it's a
Mhm.
safety issue, which to me means that the park area should be closed as far as not being used
Mhm.
until a decision is made on how it's gonna be repaired, but
Mhm.
I know the opera funds are there and I know they're available. It's just, it's not really for a repair. This is a maintenance thing. So, but that's just me.
No, it isn't a matter of it's just you, it's just, it has languished for what, 3, 4, 5 years?
Yep.
And you just can't say, oh, it's not my problem.
this is why the capital planning committee is so focused on, this is why the capital planning request form includes a field for estimated recurring maintenance costs. You know, it specifically asks, what are, you want to do this project, but what's it going to cost us after?
Do we know what the costs are for the repair?
They need bark mulch for one thing. They need bark mulch. So bark mulch they haven't put it in, and so there's concrete that's exposed now at the bottom. So they need bark mulch.
Can you put bark mulch down? I mean, I saw a lot of chipped wood down at the transfer station.
Well, it has to be certain approved because the kids are on it. It's a whole bunch of.
Okay, I withdraw my statement.
Something's got to be done. Something's got to be done because the town has been alerted to a safety issue.
Well, I think June has it right. It should be closed until further matters, because the last thing we want is a liability in a lawsuit.
I mean, after this weekend, they're not going to be able to touch it for a little bit, but until, we just want to make sure that somehow it is closed off to people now that we know it's unsafe.
That sounds like a police matter, like going down with their little yellow caution tape.
You're trying to make me feel bad. I brought my great-granddaughter down there.
We've
I
all
brought
brought our
Linda when he
kids
was
down
hurt.
there.
She thought I was cheating. You know that thing that you have to hold? And she had, go monkey.
Tomorrow
across.
I
I
can.
did the same thing, but I was walking, and she said that was cheating.
Want me to have
Fred
Fred
is the
take
one
care of
that
it?
brought this to our attention, so I'm going to email Fred tomorrow and Julie and just inform them that something's gonna, I mean, it's gonna snow. People aren't gonna be able to get there anyway, but at the same time, it should not be accessible to
Yeah, and
people
I don't
until
know,
it's rectified.
I don't know who would be responsible. Like, would that be just a designation from the select board, or would that be from you to say, okay, you're in charge of this?
Close
The
it off.
upkeep of it? Well, no, I'm just thinking, because we can close it off and that will solve it for right now, but the problem is that how do we fix it, repair it, or keep it maintained after this
Well,
fact? Because-
the recreation committee has put in the request for the CPA, and the CPA has said, well, no, not a great request, but I think the recreation committee is, by doing that, they're assuming responsibility. So maybe the select board has to say, recreation committee, you're responsible for it, but
And then we try to figure out how to pay for it after the fact then, and make a plan for spring, because I mean,
yeah, either that, or if we have to do an immediate plan and ARPA's not the option, then we need to go to reserve fund or their revolving fund, something, we need to do something to repair it, or we need to keep it closed off.
Janet, what are you munching on?
Oh my God, we have to stop this meeting because I'm eating.
everything in arms.
Oh, sorry.
Hey, I've got this.
Ooh, we're going to Margaret's house.
I would share
Wow.
with you if I was there. All right, so what do you want to do? So this is the spreadsheet, the way it is at the moment. Would you like to just present this to the select board and go down the items and explain the reasons for holding certain ones?
I would not have an issue with that. From me, my only concern would be that I know that if there's a way just to do a 2023 spreadsheet, like make a new sheet,
Oh,
and maybe
yeah.
I can try and play with that over the weekend, just so we're not scrolling through 1,800 things.
Sure, absolutely. I can, I said this before, I can do that. I'll just cut and paste and then just narrow down the FY23 one to exactly what is requested this year. So, Anna, how about I do it tomorrow, send it off to you, and you can clean it up as needed. How's that?
That sounds lovely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Now,
Anybody else on the committee have issue, Janet?
No, I was just gonna say Monday night, are we doing a joint meeting, or we're not making decisions? Do we need to post that so that if we do decide after some discussion that we want to make a vote, so that we're not, you know what I'm trying to say?
I do.
So,
It's too late to post a meeting, right?
yep. It's too late to post a meeting. So if you have one spokesperson and the rest of the members are in the audience not deliberating, it's not a problem.
Why is it too late?
Because
Because
it's not 48.
Thursday night,
Well, if we do it after, if we post it now, we could speak after 8:25. I'm not trying to sound, but I'm just saying, you're saying some of these things have a deadline for Monday night.
yeah, but if we don't have the information, it won't be an issue.
Okay,
Yeah.
I look at Monday night was your best guess. I mean, we try to meet it, but if you don't have all the information and you make a decision, then they'll lambaste you for making an incomplete decision.
no, you're absolutely right, Eloise. I just, we can't decide on something we don't know.
I've always turned in my homework half done. So, whatever.
Yeah, but you deal with horses.
No,
Yeah, they.
no, wait. I'm a doctor. I'm a real one. And I got that way. D is for doctor. I just want to say.
I'll buy that.
Anybody else have any questions, concerns? Are we feeling prepared for Monday?
No, I'm putting it on my calendar Monday night.
Can I just ask a question is,
Mm.
because I've never been here to watch you guys do this. Now this would be just a proposal, so technically you could change it or you can't change it after Monday night.
Oh, this is
dollar
a
amount.
recommendation. This is a recommendation. CPC could change it.
Okay,
Yeah, we've changed
They're
it
just,
many
this is
times.
just their
Okay.
bylaw deadline to present their recommended.
gotcha.
Yeah.
It's not just a
So,
bylaw deadline.
so
it's
leaving
the
it with a
bylaw deadline.
TBA is completely correct. It's not a, so
We
Anna,
already
see, it's
posted a
not
meeting.
wrong. It is fine.
I think we
When
already
was it?
posted a meeting for Monday night.
Did we post one or
Did
did
you?
Well,
we?
it's on my virtual only login instructions, Monday the 31st at 7:00.
That's the select board meeting login.
It says
Is it?
Capital Planning Committee. It came to my calendar. So did we have a
Really?
meeting posted already?
Margaret sent
on
us
the
something.
31st. On the
We're so
31st.
smart. I thought we said
If
we
I,
were gonna
did I
do
do
that.
that?
Yes,
Or did
I
it
thought.
Anna?
Yes.
Anna, did you do that, Anna?
I did
Anna.
not do it.
No,
No.
and I
But
think,
then I did it? Oh my
But
no,
you
I
sent me
think we
this.
discussed we were going to do it. And then when you said you didn't post it, I'm like, yes, you did. It's on my calendar.
Oh, well, I'm so proud. Okay.
So we can deliberate and we can change our minds and do all sorts of things Monday night. We could have a party.
You are scheduled, yeah, you're scheduled for 7:30. It might, Fire Chief Clark is on with the board at 7:10. And they've asked to talk about his budget with him. So he might go a few minutes over, but you are scheduled for 7:30.
Well, our meeting says 7 to 8 according to my calendar that got dropped in, so we're golden.
Sounds good.
But I honestly don't remember posting it. So if somebody else did, I don't want to take credit.
No, I think you did.
I definitely did not. And I think it's just you and me, Margaret.
Oh, boy, okay.
Yay.
Yeah.
I still got it. Still got it. Don't know it, but I still got it. Anyways.
Okay. Any other concerns, questions, issues? Okay, I'm going to adjourn us at
It was
8:28.
it was posted by Margaret on September 7th at 4:52 PM.
Look at that.
That was so long ago.
And then you amended it December 17 at 3:27 PM.
Wow.
Cool.
That's why I like my town government.
Boy, oh
Because they
boy.
track
That's
every
why we
tweet
like
you
you
throw.
on our committee because you are
Yeah.
just always right on.
There you go.
No,
There you
no.
go, Eloise.
Huh? No.
Okay. Well,
That's false
everybody, good luck on
advertising.
Monday night. And Anna, I'll shoot you over the FY23 spreadsheet and then you can work on it however you like.
Thanks.
And good luck to you.
What I would, oh, thanks. What I would suggest is once you work on it, send it over to Mary so she can upload it to the board's agenda packet in Google Drive. Okay.
Okay, I can do that.
Awesome. Okay, everybody, good night. All right, and good luck
Good
on Monday. Bye.
And what time is it?
Oh, it's 8:29.
Thank you.
Adjourned officially.
Okay.
Thank you, Eloise. Bye, guys.
Night, night.
Bye.